Welcome to Trail Manners, the podcast so dedicated to mountain trails and running that they broadcast out of a 78 Volkswagen bus in the mountains. Who does that? Eric and Joel are your hosts and will bring you the trail life as you may have not heard it before. You hear about everything from gear reviews, nutrition to keep you upright and moving forward, and they'll even bring guests into the bus for conversations that you won't hear anywhere else. It's time for some running adventures on a higher elevation. The old 78 Volkswagen bus is fired up and headed to the mountains. Here are your hosts for Trail Manners, proudly representing the 801 with their passion and love for the trails. Eric Manning and Joel Hatch.
Welcome to the Trail Manners Podcast, episode number 43. Part of our Outdoor Retailers Series special, we are going to be talking with Peter Downing from the group over at Suffer Better. So if this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. The Trail Manners Podcast is produced every week for your enjoyment, and show notes are found at trailmanners.com. Come back often, and please feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Trail Manners. All links are in the show notes. Now let's get after it. Okay, welcome back to the Trail Manners Podcast, part of our special series we got going right now. We're in Salt Lake City, Utah at the Outdoor Retailers Show, the summer show, and we got some great shows lined up for you. Sitting here with Joel, sitting on a nice comfy couch.
Yeah, I think we lucked out on the couch.
Right next to the bathroom, super hot. AC's not on where we're at, for sure. We're super excited about this show. This is a guy in a group that I've supported and really dug what they've been doing. We have Peter Downing on the show. Peter, thanks for taking the time to join us today.
Oh, yeah.
We really appreciate it.
I'm so psyched to be here.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. We've been following you, and it's great. It's an honor for us, honestly, to be here.
Wow,
so
we appreciate that because we feel the same way.
Cool.
So Peter's one of the co-founders, along with Bob Africa, who is an awesome guy. I met him 10-plus years ago down in Moab, and he's just one of the guys that you just friends for life, right?
Yep.
Right.
Totally.
And so you guys co-founded a group, a company, I don't know what you call it. What do you want to call it?
Yeah, we're a company.
Organization, company.
We're
okay.
a company. Well, we're registered as a company, but we really think of ourselves more as a community organization, really, because that's what our goal is to build this community of athletes. So.
And the cool thing about it is
Wait a minute, have we said what company he's with yet?
We're building.
Are we building?
We're building.
Okay, I want to make sure that we didn't miss
I wasn't going to say it.
All right.
I wanted you guys to say it.
We're building. So like I said, for years I've had a shirt, couple hats, some socks, and stickers on the Studio 78. There's some sweet stickers, and people ask me all the time. And here we go. They say, Eric, what is Suffer Better?
Oh, nice segue.
Like
well
that.
Done. Yeah.
And so it's interesting, and it's a concept. I tell them what I think it is, and then I send them to the website. And I'm like, you got to check this out. So, Peter? What is Suffer Better?
It's just this idea. It's more of we think about it in a lot of different ways, as a mantra. As an attitude, it's how you should approach. Since we really started with this whole notion of endurance athletes, that's what we do. You guys know this is what you do.
Yeah.
When you're out there, it hurts.
Yeah.
It does hurt. Hurts a lot.
That's the deal. So the basic idea is suffer better.
Yeah.
Is do it, you're going to suffer, so suffer better, meaning give your all. That's a big thing for us. Give your all. And then, since so much of what we do is... it's all selfish in a way.
Yeah.
We have this amazing ability to go out and do that, run the trails, go play, ride our bikes, do whatever we do. But there's a lot of people that can't. Mm-hmm. So a big component for us is that give back. So we always say give your all and give back. And that's a key component for us.
Well, and a lot of stuff, you got your hat on right now, but a lot of it is give 110%. Just give a little bit more.
Yep.
And I think the story, and it's on your website, but we just had we're talking about it before the show. As you talked about how it came about, how the name of what you call it, and it was from Bob at a Leadville race.
Yep. Yeah, Bob was doing the Leadman series. He's won that once. He was second once, and I think it was the year that he was second that. It was after one of the initial races, the marathon, and Bob's a badass. He's a strong runner, and he finished, and somebody had come up to him and said, "Man, how do you do that?" And Bob's response was, "I suffer better."
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's like, "Whoa,
light
that
bulb
works.
goes off.
That's
right.
cool."
Yeah.
And so suddenly, he called me. We've been friends for a million years, and And so we formed the company. We bought the domain. We printed up a couple of T-shirts to sort of get that out there to see where it was going, and people loved it. And kind of off we went. And we've been that was 2+ years ago. So been building ever since.
Well, and it's a community base because you guys are big on social media.
Yep.
You don't go over the top, and it's about giving back. Because I remember I was at a minor league single-A baseball game, right? And I had my Suffer Better shirt on. I was with my daughter, and someone took a picture of me, and it went in social media. And next thing you know, Suffer Better sharing it.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just hanging out, just a normal guy, but I mean, it's promoting the community.
Yep.
And
right. Absolutely.
To be honest with you, part of what Trail Manners, I mean, we personally got inspiration from you guys. Kind of following something that wasn't like you mentioned earlier, again, before we talked, of course.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a T-shirt company.
Yeah, right.
No.
Right.
And same thing for us. We don't want to be just a podcast,
Right.
just selling hats. We want to be a community, of people, a resource for people, so to say. And
yeah, we've always said that too.
Yeah.
We want to be this platform.
Yeah, there you go.
So we want to have product, obviously.
Yeah.
Because people, like you said, people love that ability to sort of tell the world how they approach things.
Yeah.
We tried at one point doing a smaller version of the logo on the front. They're like, "What the hell is that? I can barely read that. I'm not doing that. Give me the big one." It's been really funny that way.
Well, there's a reason Superman's S is so big.
Yeah,
right?
right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But so that was funny. We learned a valuable lesson there. But so we want to do presentations. We want to put on races. We want to sponsor things. We have an ambassador program, which is super exciting. We've got 16 athletes all over the country, and we worked sort of the same way with them, as they each had to tell us what it all meant to them, and they had to identify a nonprofit. So they each have a code, so their friends can use that code to buy stuff from us. They get a discount, and then we take 10% of all of those sales and donate to their specific nonprofit. So that's 16 nonprofits all over the country that, they all get a little something.
Yeah.
I mean, mind you, it's not like we're selling $1 million worth of T-shirts.
So what are some of the nonprofits? So give us some examples.
We started with a couple of veterans groups. So we did Wounded Warriors.
Right.
Then we did an English version of Wounded Warriors called Help for Heroes. One of our ambassadors, his mom was suffering from going through the breast cancer thing, so we did breast cancer research. Once when they had the big earthquakes in Nepal, we supported the DZI Foundation. Davis Finney, he's a good friend of Bob's and mine. We know him, and so the Parkinson's thing we supported. We just did have you guys ever seen the Boundless TV show? And I don't mean this as a plug to them. Have you ever seen that?
No.
I don't. That doesn't ring a bell.
It's on the Esquire Network.
Okay.
And you probably know Rory Bossio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So she and these 3 crazy-ass Canadians, they go all over the world and they do these bizarre adventures, races and stuff.
Yeah.
So I watched one the other day. It was in Sweden. They had to run across and swim between, in teams of 2, 26 different islands in the Swedish archipelago.
Wow.
So they're running across these islands in their wetsuits and jumping into the ocean and swimming to the next island.
That
and
sounds
some of
cold.
the islands were
Sounds cool.
It sounded awful. But so we have a friend who connected us with those guys, and they're big supporters of a group in Kenya called Connecting Countries that builds latrines for primary schools.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
So we did it. They couldn't really do anything with us on the show,
Right.
but they're all pretty popular guys and gals on social. So we sent them all a bunch of stuff, and we started promoting this thing. And so we ended up raising enough money to build a latrine at a primary school in Kenya, so all these kids could focus on education as opposed to hygiene and stuff like that. So it's really stuff like that. It's awesome.
So that's so cool. I think that's where the rubber hits the road, right? Getting those stories.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can sit here and say, okay, we got this great program, but then when the story comes out, that's when it really hits home, right?
Oh yeah,
that's so cool.
People, that's what gets people rallied.
Yeah.
Because I think we all know that we should be doing that.
Mhm.
We
Right.
should give back because we're lucky.
Yeah.
But we're busy. Everybody's busy.
Right.
So it's really cool for our community to jump on board those things. So when we promoted that, we sold hats like bananas. It was nuts. I mean, because people say, not only do I get a slick hat, I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And so.
Well, it's easy
You
to
know.
do because, like I
Yeah.
said, I mean, I've like shirts and hats and
Yeah, yeah.
everything. And it's like I wanted it anyway. It's,
Yep.
it's super cool. I like
Right.
I like the message.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, it's like, well, it might be a small portion, but you're doing something, and it makes it easier for
Oh yeah. Yeah.
for you to do it because
Yep.
you guys are doing all the work.
Oh yeah.
Really,
Absolutely. Yeah.
you're doing
Right.
all the work. All we got to do is enter a credit card number, and
Yeah.
it's good to go,
Yeah.
and we get rewarded.
Yeah.
As well as rewarding
and
other
it's
people.
and it's really fun for us when we get to do those things, when we get to make a donation.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I imagine.
So, and it really, we got a super nice note from this guy from Connecting Countries. It was like, holy shit, I don't even know who you guys are, and you're building a latrine for us. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
That is
And
really neat.
Our folks loved it. So
Well,
that was cool.
and you mentioned that, like the note thing, and this is something I would like to do personally. But again, it's every time I've ordered something from you guys, every single time I get a postcard, personalized, handwritten. Thanks for flying the flag.
It's a big deal for us.
It's cool. It's
Yeah.
the
It's a
big
coolest
deal
thing.
for us
It really
because-
is.
Well, you guys know this, but we can't do it without you guys,
Yeah.
without
Right.
everybody, the community. So if we don't acknowledge that, then we are just a T-shirt company.
Yeah.
Then we're just selling shit,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And this way, everybody who's part of that community really matters because we always say this: we can't do this without you guys. So and for us, it's there's those times when you're sitting there and it's like, I got like a stack of postcards I gotta write. It's like, oh, okay.
Here we go.
How many different ways can I say that? And make it sound good.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
it
You wanna be
matters.
genuine about
yeah,
it.
Yeah, because
Well,
we really want to be.
And it
you
is
know?
because every time I open it, I know I'm getting a hat or a shirt or socks and a sticker for sure. But when I look for the postcard,
Yeah, yeah.
'cause that's my
Right.
favorite part because
Oh, yeah.
it's personal.
Oh, yeah.
So I know I bought the hat. There's a percentage going somewhere, but then I
Right.
get this little trinket,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I look at and go, right on.
You know what's going to happen now? Now that he knows that you're looking forward to that,
I know.
he's just going to give just random stuff out of his garage. He's just going to go find something. I don't need that anymore.
There you go.
And he's going to write thanks and just put it in there. You know?
Thanks for helping me clean out the garage.
Yeah,
This is like
thank
some
you.
old dirty sock
Yeah,
comes
that's
over
right.
there. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, totally appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a sock.
Go fly that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But no, I mean your guys' message and just the whole platform has been super cool from day one. Just to watch it, and,
It's been fun.
and knowing Bob. I mean, we just met, but I've known Bob, and so to kind of see this progress.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
I follow you guys like crazy. Social media, just check out always what you guys are doing. You bike jerseys and stuff.
Oh yeah, we
So-
got new ones of those coming out, which is totally fun.
And those are
Yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah,
Those are cool. What about run stuff?
I know that's what I keep
Yeah.
telling Bob.
We
Come on now, we need some run stuff.
like what? What do you
a
do you
top,
need?
a
We need-
cool,
we need a
like
cool top.
tech tee, like
Yeah.
a cool.
It's funny that you just said that because yesterday Bob and I talked about we've been trying to find the right tech tees.
Uh-huh.
We did some earlier on.
Yep.
But I didn't like them. I don't know. Did you get one
I
of those?
did. Yep. I still wear it.
Do you?
I do.
We didn't like them. The feel wasn't quite right.
Mhm.
So the last little couple months we've been looking hard for a new one. I think we found one.
All right.
So we're gonna start doing those. We redid our face masks. Did you
Okay.
if you ever got one of those?
No, not yet.
Okay. Yeah.
I have to go back
Not
online.
yet. Did you hear that?
Yeah, not
yet.
I got to get one of those personalized note cards again. Makes me feel good about myself.
Yeah. No, we'll send you one of those. They're awesome.
Yeah.
They're like buffs.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
Okay.
I wear buffs all the time.
Yeah. So it's just branded us.
Well, that's
They're
cool.
cool.
Right on.
It's local company. We
That's-
try to use local resources.
Yeah.
Is that from Boco?
The hats are definitely Boco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Face
what-
masks are a local group called Function Wear
Okay.
Okay.
with a PH. They're in Denver.
Okay.
They do awesome stuff.
And for people that don't know, you guys are out of Boulder. Right?
Denver, Boulder. I
Denver,
live
Boulder.
in Denver, and
Okay.
Bob lives in Boulder.
Okay, so
you know,
Colorado and-
we're definitely the mountain-based
Yeah.
like that.
And we do the Boco hats too.
Oh,
We've
do
got
ya?
a couple different styles
They're
of Boco
great.
hats, and
Yeah.
we love dealing with those. They're the best, really.
I
Yeah.
think they
great
are
to
too.
work. Great
I
to
think
work with.
They are.
Small.
The minimums work.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Have
huge
to-
for stuff for
Yeah,
like us.
For us too. I don't have to order 10,000 hats.
Right.
What do
Right.
I do with that?
Mortgage-
then I am
second
handing them
mortgage
out of the
on your
garage.
house.
Yep.
So with we kind of have an idea now where it came from. Where's it going? I mean, what's your ultimate goal? What's your pie in the sky? What are the next steps? I mean, you've talked about how you guys are doing supported, these groups and different
Yep,
things.
yep.
I mean, where do you guys hope to take a little bit more
we
platform?
We want to get more active in community stuff. So we sponsored our first race, which was the Boulder Mountain Marathon
Oh,
in,
nice.
in
Oh,
May.
nice. That
which
did
was
really well.
yeah, it's sort of been, from what I know, it'd been dormant for a couple years, and Henry at Flatirons Running decided to sort of relaunch it, and so that was pretty good. And Joe Grant, you may know,
Yeah.
big ultra guy.
Oh, yeah.
He lives up in Gold Hill, and so he designed the course. It started and finished in his place, which was up at like 8,000 feet.
Nice.
And it was super fun. But it was really great for us to get out there. Finally gave us an excuse to buy a banner. And, it's like, well, okay, gee, we're out here now, huh?
Now you're official.
And yeah,
landed.
that's exactly right.
Right?
It's official.
Yeah, it's official.
We're out,
No
out
more
there.
messing around.
And it was super fun, and we got some great, a great response out of that. We did. We have some friends who are in the cooking world. One of our ambassadors is one of the founders of Real Athlete Diets, Rad, out of
Oh, yeah?
Boulder,
Oh.
and they do specialty menus and nutrition for athletes. Like she works with Kelly is her name. She's awesome. She does a lot of work with Timothy Olson.
Yeah, I just saw that.
So we did a cooking class with them called Eat Like an Athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Jurek showed up and helped, and it's one of those things where you actually cook your own meal and they direct you. That
Right.
was super fun.
That's a really good idea.
So we want to do that, presentations. We want to put on races. Bob and I were up at a place in the hills not too long ago and kind of scouting out an initial sort of small race that we want to do. So that kind of thing, and then we've just come to this realization that yes, it's great and it's for athletes and what we do every day in the training and the racing, but it should be life.
Yeah.
It's how we should live. You should
Right.
suffer better. You should give your all in what you do, whether
Yeah.
it's work, whether it's life at home with your family. So we're launching here at OR a new program called Suffer Better for Good. We just call it SB for Good. And it's a way for companies to get their employees engaged. So there's a bunch of components to it. Of course, there's a give back. They have
Yeah.
to designate. And then we do a month-long activity challenge where they compete against other people in the company to see who's fitter, faster, stronger, whatever, however they want to do that. And so we haven't had, nobody's signed up yet, but the response has been really interesting. People are psyched about it because they all want to do that. They're in
Right.
the same boat.
Yeah.
Right? They've got people on their teams and they want them to be happy, engaged,
Right.
working hard, giving a damn about the company and what they're doing, and the give back piece, of course. All these companies do this, but a lot of them are honestly pretty comfortable just writing a check.
Yeah.
And what's that? Right?
Yeah.
You can all do that.
There's no skin in the game at
Yeah,
that point, right?
That's exactly right. It's a big deal.
You
And
need to go with Solomon and talk to those guys.
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
Because there's a lot of companies that have like a wellness type program.
yeah,
and they
sure.
do. You see it more. I think more now than ever.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
I
Yep.
know out because I'm out looking for jobs, and you see these wellness programs and gym memberships, and
Yeah.
helps your insurance or whatever. So this is just something that, like you said, everybody can get involved with.
Right.
'Cause
Yeah.
even
At
with our
whatever
show-
level, it doesn't even matter. You don't have to be, the hardcore endurance athlete.
Yeah.
But the other pieces of it that I think are so great is it gets people talking to one another.
Right.
They go out and run together, walk together, ride together. I don't care, So it builds community within the company.
Right. So it's
That,
that team
you know-
building on a more genuine level, right?
Absolutely.
It's not forced in
Yeah,
a
that's
way.
right. You're not going to some seminar.
Yeah.
right? And
Well, and it's funny you say that. Is the other day, me and Joel, we were up running kind of by home on 22nd Street Trailhead, and we pull into the parking lot. We see a guy that we run with. His name's Nick Froer. He's part of our run group. He pulls up, and all these cars are filling the parking lot.
Oh, that's right.
And we're like, what is going on? So he comes walking over, and we chat a little bit, and he works for a credit union, local credit union, and they've put together like a running group
Yeah.
to train.
That's
and,
awesome.
and it is. It's all walks
There
of
was
of
like
life.
20
Oh,
people.
easy.
and
it's
they're
just-
all from his
From
Yeah.
his branch.
from his branch.
It was
at
crazy.
his corporate
And
office.
it was like you had Nick, who is pretty fit dude, all the way up to some people. You're like, dude, I hope you have the AED out.
Yeah. Well, and that's what we talked to him. It was getting hot. It was getting hot, and they're going on the trail. And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, some people have never been on a trail. Some people
Right.
don't
Yep.
really run, but we want to get them engaged. We
Yep.
want to get them active, and
Yeah.
and that kind of building that community within their company.
We'll hook you up with Nick.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
And it's a confidence builder. Like
Yeah.
you just said, some of these people who have never done this,
Right.
they're going to finish that.
Yeah.
And they're like, hot damn.
Yep.
Or
That
they're
was
going to be
awesome.
like, I hate you. We're never doing this again.
And when
Till
are we
next
going
week.
again?
It's
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
That's how it's going to
Exactly.
be. That's the
Yeah.
second
Totally.
sentence. Totally
Yeah.
agree.
because that's how it is. Even like with us with running. I mean, I
Oh,
remember the first time you run say a 50 miler, or even marathons for that. It's like
You
I
swear
will
it off.
never do that again.
Yeah,
2
you're
days
like,
later, you're on the
never, ever.
internet.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
you're right.
For the
Okay.
next one.
Or you
I
hit the finish
know-
line, you're like, okay, let's do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I can drop whatever.
Yep.
That's next step.
Yep.
I can do that better than
Yeah,
that.
I can do this.
I'm
I can do
faster
that.
than
Yeah.
But it is, and we get a lot of that because we talk to a lot of endurance athletes,
Yep.
and we get a lot of people, and we've all had the conversation. Even they'll come up and say, oh, so you run 150, you're a 50 miler. I bet you don't run a 10K. That's stupid to you, and it's like. I just ran a 10. I'm like 10K.
Yeah.
If you ran a 10K, that's awesome. 'Cause
If you run
gotta-
hard, it hurts.
It hurts.
It hurts a
That's
lot.
exactly
Or
right.
you don't run marathons; they're too short, and it's like no. And
No,
the
we're
fact
going
that
to do
you-
it on the 27th of this
Yeah.
month.
So I think it's like
Yeah.
it's all in perspective, and if you do a 5K and like because I've done it, I've
Yeah,
run.
sure.
There's been a 25K and a 50K. I'll go to the race. What do you run? I'm like, oh, I'm only doing the 25K.
Only doing,
Yeah.
right?
But it's still it's like, wait a minute, would I have said this 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Right.
I wouldn't have known a 25K
Well,
was.
the important thing is to give your best effort
Yeah.
for that day,
That's
right?
You just said it, right?
Give your
It
best
doesn't-
effort for that particular day.
Yep.
That's what's most important for anything.
Yes, agreed. It's to give your all,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
That's
for that,
why we
for
did
that
those new
particular
stickers,
day.
right?
For that particular day,
No
give me your
number.
best efforts.
Bingo.
That's all I
totally
I
agree.
ever ask,
Well,
right?
that's
Yeah.
asking that of yourself is
Right.
Right.
It's not that
Right.
big of a jump, whether it
No.
is a 5K, a 10K, a marathon, whatever it is. You're making steps, and everybody has a story.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
some people, a 5K, because we talked about it before, it's like, well, I have a family. Where do I train? I can't train for a 50 mile. I don't have enough time.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe it is a 10K.
The
or-
5K is that initial step into realizing that they can do it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah,
It's
I think
that-
that's really true.
It's that sense of finishing because
Yeah.
my daughter asked me last night. This was a funny story. She goes, Dad, what's your favorite race distance? And
Oh,
she asked
she's
me
been
this-
listening to some podcasts, hasn't she?
I think she probably has.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Oh, wait,
that's a
how old
good-
is she?
She's 11.
She's 11.
And when she was 5 years old, she did a 5K mountain race. 'Cause
Whoa.
me and Joel put it on in a mountain. She did it at 5.
Man, that was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
Still, that's
Dang.
pretty awesome.
Yeah. So she asked me what my favorite race distance was, and I had to think about it.
Yeah.
And she goes, and then she said, well, what one do you hate the most? And I said, probably a 5K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she goes, but that's only 3 miles. I'm like, yeah, but you got to run hard.
See that? Yeah.
You gotta run
And you got to run the
hard.
whole thing.
Exactly.
You know, you run 100. There's places where you're hiking, you're walking, whatever.
Yeah.
You
There's
don't
lots
do that
of places
in 5K.
where you're hiking.
Well, and even
Yeah.
when you run like a longer distance race, the spots. So I've been suffering, right, at a
Oh, yeah.
50K, but I know there's going to be an aid station, or
Yep.
I'm going to turn and there's going to be the finish line.
Yes.
I walk,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, they're going to see me now. Now I got to run.
Oh yeah, that happened up at
Yeah.
Luke's race at Scout Mountain Ultra. You're like, oh, there's the finish. I gotta start running now.
and that's
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah, as soon as you're in sight.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
That's funny.
it's all in
Really funny.
perspective of what you do. So that's why we even on the show encourage. Like I said, we talk to endurance athletes, but we encourage people to give it your all, but
Yeah.
break out of that comfort zone sometimes.
Yep.
If you're
Right.
training for a 5K, just give it your all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still
Yep.
it's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
It
It
really
is.
is.
Yeah.
You
Do your
know,
best.
Do your best. So, how can people get involved with you guys? I know that they can listen to the show,
I
and
mean, they
whether
could buy gear,
Yeah,
right?
they could
Which
buy
is
of course.
cool. But
Of
this
course.
this new thing, right? I think this new thing's going to be
this
big,
SB
right?
for good.
Yeah.
I
This
mean,
is gonna be
really.
cool.
I hope so. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
let's
what. so
help him promote this.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
Companies?
What
Yeah.
can people do to get involved or
Just-
get more information on that?
Drop us a note. I mean,
All right.
that's easy. I mean,
Sufferbetter.com.
Yeah, I mean, and it's either Peter or Bob
All
at
right.
Suffer Better. Yeah, and because we put the bit on the on the site, and we just love to talk to people, find out what do they need at their company, what would help them.
Right.
Because it's flexible enough. We have an app that people
Oh,
can
wow.
track all this stuff.
Oh, right on.
So it's instantaneous, so you can see who's winning.
Oh,
Right.
that's
quote,
neat.
winning
Ooh,
all
that
the
is
time. So
cool.
who's
Competitive.
oh yeah, you guys know this.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
we're competitive, but
Everybody is at some level.
Yeah.
keep it in-house kind of,
Yeah.
so it's competitive, but it's competitive against your friends and
It's
colleagues.
a fun way to do
yeah,
it.
so
Right.
it's not intended to be intense
Yeah.
like that.
Well, because it's for a cause. It's for an
absolutely.
end goal.
No,
right?
absolutely.
What
So
it's
we
for.
help them identify, the cause they want to support. We make sure the company is on board. We do a survey of everybody in the company to find out really who do they want to support, how do they want to do this, what makes sense. So you can get points by volunteering at a race or at a shelter, whatever. You get points for that because for us that matters.
Yeah.
You should be recognized for that. You're not running, but you're giving
Yeah.
somehow. So it's all that, and they can do it as many times as they want. I don't think people want to do this for more than like a month.
Yeah.
But hopefully you instill that, so
Right.
then they'll continue to do it. Then
Or-
you've laid the groundwork, or they can do it again later in the year. That's
Yeah.
fine too.
Well, sometimes
you know?
what you find with this, because some of the past jobs I've had, we've done like this wellness thing
Yeah.
or whatever, and you get that, those people doing it, say that first month. Well, then what you get is a month or two later, people like, hey, when are we going to do that again?
Exactly.
Because it gives
Exactly.
them, they feel good.
Yes,
Right? Because
agreed.
they're working out, they're training, they're volunteering,
Yep.
they're giving back, and it's a feel good, and
Yes.
you're feeling good about what you're doing, but also, hey, wait a minute, my lifestyle, my health is changing.
Right.
Right.
I feel really good about
Right.
that. When are we going to do that again?
Well, yeah, and the goal, of course, is like any of that, is to get it to be part of company culture, so that there's that communication going on. They're getting along with each other. They're active and consistently giving back to something.
Yeah.
So if you can build that, all the studies show that companies do better. People are more loyal. Their retention rates are higher. And if if it costs you $150,000 to replace somebody,
Yeah,
you don't
right.
have to replace them.
Yep.
Hello.
Yep. And that's
So-
the cool thing. I mean, because we can all speak, and there's people out there too. Like, we're at the Outdoor Retailer Show, so what we're surrounded by
Yeah.
is all of these outdoor companies from all facets of the world. I mean, there's
Yep.
different countries here. There's different brands, from frisbees to shoes to
The stand-up-
apparel.
stand-up
Stand-up paddle boards
Yeah,
are
no,
here.
there's hardly any of those.
Yeah,
here.
right.
Yeah.
So-
Oh my gosh.
everywhere. It's like, which one
That's
do
a
I-
side note, right?
Yeah.
Is that crazy or what?
5 years ago, there wasn't one here.
Yep.
Yeah.
You didn't see them.
Yep.
Now
Suddenly
they're
there's
dominating.
everywhere.
It's crazy.
Unbelievable.
But and then that's the thing with these companies, is that's part of the culture.
Yep.
Right. So if you're
Yep.
not, and I'm not saying it's only in the outdoor industry, because I've been part of known companies like we talked about, as credit union that's getting
Right,
into
right.
it. But I think what it is, like you said, the studies and what people are finding, and generations are like, hey, this is the way to do things.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
because I remember talking at a past job I had to an HR manager. We had they did like the Biggest Loser contest within the company.
Oh yeah.
But they're like, but it also helps with our insurance.
It
Bingo.
does.
You know what I mean?
So you're
because
saving
my
money.
my
Yeah.
people are healthier.
Yes.
They're not going to the doctor. They're
Right.
not,
And I
they're not
think-
sick and missing days of work.
They're more productive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think insurance companies actually give you a break
They probably do.
on your rates
Oh,
if
yeah.
you've got programs like this.
Yep.
If you're actually, like you said, if you're trying to get people better and they're working at that so that they're trying to be healthier, the insurance companies are like, okay, we can reduce your rates.
Yeah.
you
Right.
know? Who doesn't want to save that money?
Well, and
so
like,
this is like a big win-win.
it's
right?
like a win-win-win. It's
Yeah,
a
that's
win
the-
for the company,
Right.
win for the people, and win for the
Whatever.
organizations they're supporting.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
it's
way
just
we. That's
all the way
exactly
around.
how we describe it. It's the win-win-win.
Yeah,
right?
and so
Nothing
this
wrong with that.
this program that you're talking about, the SB for Good.
Yeah.
When is kind of the launch of this whole thing?
We hope to have our first company actually participating in January.
Okay.
So the next few months are all about signing people up,
Okay.
getting
Right.
them going, and they pay, they got to pay a small fee,
Yeah.
right? It's based on company size, but
Right.
it's like $10 a person. Come on,
Really? That's it?
That's like nothing,
That is
right?
How much you spend on coffee in the break room?
Bingo.
Wait a minute. I
Bingo.
thought that's crazy.
No,
that
no.
You're gonna have everybody knocking at your door.
Yeah, no, right?
Let's hope,
Yeah.
right? Hello, are you guys listening?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I know it's something like Joel mentioned. I mean, it's something we would definitely, because this is what we're about.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
You
it?
know,
$10?
Yeah.
Joel's
Yeah.
still
I mean,
$10. Joel
y-
just gave you $10. He's ready to sign his
Dude,
company
that's
up.
nutso. Yeah, it's a company of one.
Here's $30.
Yeah.
My whole company's
You guys
signed
are
up.
in. This is our test case.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
in fact, you know what? We'll do you guys for nothing. We'll cut you some slack.
Only,
Nothing.
only if we get a personal note card.
Yeah. Oh, it's coming. Don't
I
you
just-
worry.
I just want the sock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's funny.
But I think, what you guys do without this is just so cool, though. I mean, we've talked about it through the show, and more companies, like Joel mentioned, is the best thing. Put some skin in the game.
Yep.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
have to.
because, like you said, people want to do things
They
by
do.
nature.
I think they do.
Some people just don't know how to go about it.
Right.
Because
Yep.
there's so much out there. I mean, there's a lot of programs and donate to this and donate to that. But this is just I'd say a fun way to do it
Yeah,
too. To kind of get your skin in the game. The Suffer Better stuff. I'm sorry, I think it's one of the coolest little mantras.
Yeah, especially with the backstory.
Oh yeah, the
yeah.
backstory.
That's the best.
Yeah, and that's what, like, for me explaining it. What do you mean suffer better? Because some people on the outside are like, why would you even want to suffer?
Right.
It's
Right.
like, because that's when you grow.
Well,
Yeah.
and if you even ask them, you'd say, "Come on, you're going to tell me you don't?"
Yeah.
Right.
Who can tell us that they don't? That you think about all the times when, whether it's at work, we don't think of it that way sometimes. But
No.
sometimes even at work, you're like, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
this is so horrible."
Well,
You're suffering. So
Well, me and Joel
know?
drove down from Ogden to Salt Lake City the last 2 mornings.
Yeah.
And fought bumper to bumper traffic. That's suffering to me.
seriously,
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one. Totally.
You know, and people do that for
Yeah.
a living every
They
day.
do that
Yeah.
every day.
Long distances, and it's part of reality. And,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, it's everything you do, you can suffer, and it's just so awesome. Why not suffer better?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and we say it with your training for a race.
Yeah.
You're going to suffer, you know, no matter how trained and well off you are, but how much you suffer is up to
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Yeah.
Right?
True.
It really
Yeah.
is.
You know, the other thing that we do that has been really fun is we collab things with companies. So we're trying, for example, to get a shoe company
Oh, yeah.
to create, just take one of their existing shoes. Like we'd love to work with Hoka, right?
Yeah.
And we know some of them, but we'd like to take one of their existing shoes and have them do a version of it that's a Suffer Better version.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
And then the deal would be they would identify the nonprofit, and they would commit to donating 10% of all of the sales of that particular shoe to that nonprofit.
Right.
We don't get anything. We don't even care.
Yeah.
Right? It just helps us build the community.
Right.
So we've done that with a couple of groups so far. They haven't been big, but they're killer successful. That's why we donated to the Help for Heroes program in England. There's this great little gym. What are they called? LDN Fitness. They're somewhere outside of London, and they called us, and they were
Wow.
going to do they wanted to do like Athlete of the Week or something, and then they heard about us. So they called us and said, can we just put a big Suffer Better sign on the wall? and we said, oh, hell yeah. So if you follow us on Insta or something, you'll see every once in a while, and they're always black and white. These guys are
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And there's somebody who is just killing it. The sweat just pouring. There's a puddle on the floor.
Right.
And behind him is
Kettlebells
this
or-
giant
Yeah.
sign says Suffer Better.
Yeah.
And so we did jointly produced a T-shirt for their team, and all of the proceeds went to this thing called Help for Heroes. And it was awesome, and they were so awesome. We did it with Race Across America because Rick, who's their ED, is a good friend of Bob's. So we do a bunch of stuff with them, and that's where Bicycles for Humanity comes in, because the proceeds, both Ram and us agree to donate all the proceeds from that to Bicycles for Humanity. So it's those kinds of things are awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to do more of, those things too, where we partner up with somebody like that.
Well, I think,
So-
I mean, we hope that people, you know, we'll push the show, but I mean, there's just, like you said, there's so many opportunities,
Yeah.
and there's so many companies out there that, Joel, I mean, I'll bring it up again, I don't care, skin in the game,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's just kind of what's your effort level you have to do to
Yeah.
make such an impact and such a difference in,
Yeah.
you know, these lives you guys have done. I mean, what you guys have done is incredible.
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
cool.
I mean,
It's
it
fun for
really
us.
is.
We're having a blast, actually.
Well, you can
So,
tell.
you
I
know.
mean, we met you for the first time today in person, and it's just been like, hey, how's it going? We've known each other for a while.
I
Seriously.
know. It's like
That's
it's
how it
time
should
to go
be.
get some beers,
Yeah,
right?
especially when he pulls out the
Yeah.
socks. We're like, right on, we're besties.
Yeah, huh?
Because we need socks right now.
Who doesn't need socks?
Right.
Yeah.
Come on.
Especially when they're good looking.
Yeah, they are too.
Yeah.
I wear
He's
mine
got his on.
Every day.
Oh, I love
Right?
all the stuff
Hilarious.
you guys do.
You know, it's funny, actually. So,
But yeah, I mean, we'll have on our side, we're gonna have links, you know,
Yeah.
for
Cool.
people that
We'll push
you
it
know,
out.
Great.
Yeah, we'll push it out. But yeah, I mean,
and
it's
we'll
just,
do the same.
It's so easy
mean,
to get involved. You know?
Yeah,
and
it's so
when-
easy for us to push it when we believe in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. We're not going to bring somebody on the show that we don't agree with,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like you know,
Well,
if you
good.
eat 50 Big Macs a day, that's our goal. We may not bring them on, you know, whatever company that is. You
That's
know?
gross.
Yeah, right.
Woo. Need a bigger couch.
Yeah. Me and Joel are sharing a
Yeah, we got a
three-seater.
Nice couch here. I think this would be the most comfortable podcast we've done all day.
Oh, probably. I mean, we need to talk to see if there's something on our, like the Trail Manners. You guys, I mean, Joel's got some stuff just to kind of do a fun something too.
Listen, we are so open, and
Yeah.
like I said, we love what you guys are doing. It's so great for us. I'm humbled just to be sitting here, so that's pretty awesome.
I'll stop it, man.
But-
Now you're making
No, seriously.
Eric's blushing.
So anything we can do, like, you know, we do regular newsletters. We'll hype you guys up. We'll talk about this. We'll put a link to it. You
Well,
know,
so let's
and-
let's circle back to something real quick. That race, that marathon race,
Yeah.
that you guys did or helped resurrect the
Yeah.
Boulder Mountain race.
Yeah.
Mostly service road. Is that what that was?
Some fire road,
Like fire roads?
but a lot of the Switzerland Trail, which is above Boulder, was a
Okay.
big part of it, right?
So is that something that you guys are going to be involved with, for
Hopefully.
the foreseeable future?
Yep.
So that's some way that we can help, right?
Yeah.
That Eric and I were talking about that this morning. We obviously are at the point where the podcast is growing, and we're looking to make that next step. And one of the things that we've realized that we've done this year is we've really focused on 3 races this year and tried to help fill those races. And we both really feel strongly about what you're doing, and then we'll go ahead and we'll definitely help you fill that race
Sweet.
next year. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have that limit, then our goal is let's hit that
get it.
limit.
Yeah.
Let's get as many people in there as they possibly can fit within their cap, and then if somebody can't get in there, donate.
Yeah.
Help this.
Do you guys hit the road ever? I mean, do you
Well, the
pack up the van and
the bus
and
is
go?
it's a town bus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anybody that's ever lived in a mountain town knows that you have a town car
Yeah.
Yeah.
that doesn't go outside of the town.
Yeah.
And that's what the bus is.
Okay.
Right now it is.
For right
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
I'm actually starting to push Eric. I'm like, dude, do you think we can drive the bus up to Jackson next week? And he's like, no, we can't.
Well,
And I'm like, well, we need to try it. We haven't tried it yet.
I'm baby stepping it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We get, that's one thing we've talked about is definitely because we get out of town.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going out to Tetons and different
Right.
areas, but yeah, we do definitely,
Yeah,
and
so-
that's our goal is to get a little bit more mobile that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
So when is that marathon?
It was in May this
Like
past year.
the
So
beginning of May. Something
yeah,
like
I think
that?
it was like the 15th.
Okay.
Mid-May. So I'm.
So we need the
It'll
road
come
trip out
back.
there next year.
Yeah.
I'm in because May's always a month I'm looking for something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and when we do our first one, which we're looking at, we'll have you guys come out because
Okay.
the way it's set up now is we're gonna do a sort of friends and family version to test the
Oh, nice.
concept.
Oh, I like
right?
that.
And it's at a piece of property. It's all private land, so we don't need
Wow.
permits, any of that kind of stuff. And there's a big cottage there.
Wow.
So we just figure we'll invite a bunch of people to come up and crash. And
That's
we'll
the way to do these
we'll
things,
just,
really.
We'll
Yeah.
just hang out,
It's a
and
community.
then it'll really be a way for us to find out how do we do. I've done races before, organized them before. So on my 40th birthday, I did one called the Big 4-0, and we ran. You could do 40 miles, 40K, or 4 miles. That was the deal, and you had to. It was a donation. We raised a bunch of money for the. One of those food banks, Rocky Mountain Food Banks.
Wow.
But it was funny because it was New Year's. I'm born on New Year's Eve.
Oh, nice.
So it was late December. It was so freaking cold. But even like my mom came out and brought 10 of her friends.
Oh, that's
and they all
awesome.
walked 4 miles.
That's so
and,
cool.
It was so awesome. It was so, that's a big part of this. So we just want to test that.
Right.
And, get people out, and then we'll take their feedback and sort of say, okay, what do we need to do here? How does
Is that
this work?
Is that
So-
kind of the concept of this race you're talking about? Is different distances, or is
no,
it kind of
would,
where
it
you're
would
looking at
probably
some
be
Fixed.
the terrain is super rugged where
Oh,
this
nice.
is, so it would. I think we'd probably start with like a 10-miler, but
Okay.
it would probably take
a little
2
while.
hours.
Not your average 10 mile.
yeah, it's a couple hours minimum.
And time of year, what are you guys looking at
Fall.
right now? Fall.
Maybe
oh,
fall
nice.
because it's beautiful.
Yeah, so I was gonna say that's a
Yeah.
good time of
A
year.
lot of aspens in the
Yeah.
hood, so
Ooh.
maybe
My
like
favorite tree.
Yeah,
it
me
is.
too. Me too.
It's my daughter's name.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
People
That's
think we're
awesome.
hippies, but I just it's just I like the tree.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. Come on.
Yeah.
So it's things like that we'd like to do, and we know guys like you now, and so figuring out ways to do interesting things with you for helping you guys and helping us get content out there
Yeah.
that helps our audience and your audience.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
And there's a lot of cross there. I mean, not just
Totally.
the
Yeah, there's
endurance
cross
side.
pollination.
Yeah, it really is because
Oh, yeah.
it's just about and same thing for us. It's about the community because you guys
Yeah.
have. I mean, if you went right now and looked at your social media stuff, you've got a lot, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But you also have a core.
We do.
Like
It's really
the core
true.
people that you really know, and then you have just a lot of people, and that's where we're building.
Right.
We're growing our social media, which we're
Yep.
still growing. Keep liking and following, but we have a core group. I mean,
Yep.
there's names I could name right now.
Oh,
that
yes.
are always commenting, always sending
funny,
emails,
isn't it?
and it's awesome
yeah.
because you
It
feel
is
like
totally awesome.
you're building these relationships.
Yes.
I got
Yeah.
a message from a guy the other day that just went out and bought a Volkswagen Weekender van.
Yeah, that was
You
funny.
know, and I'm like, that's super cool.
You're
'cause
like, I
that's-
hope your wife doesn't hate us right
Yeah.
now.
you know.
But even if she does, you'll get over it.
Yeah,
because
right.
You got the
And-
bus.
And now
That's
we got to
right.
meet and have our buses in the same
His
shop.
coolness level just went up.
Oh, yeah.
Like big
Right.
time.
Yeah,
But
totally.
it's really neat when you start to get that core,
Oh.
and especially when you're new. Like we're really new still.
Yeah.
We really started in November, so we
yeah.
haven't even been doing it a year. So you got those people that have been supporting you from day one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's the ones that you kind of like. Thank you.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
you help spread what we want
Well,
to do.
honestly, you're one of those for us, right?
That's awesome.
It's really true.
God,
I
I'm
mean,
really blushing.
you-
This is my favorite show I've ever done.
You've been
So
around.
you're
you've
gonna
been
be like
around
suffer
since-
better number like fanboy 3.
Fanboy.
Yeah.
Fanboy.
But it's true, and every little bit of that helps because you tell somebody else, or
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
see you, and you've got your friends and followers. They're like,
Yep.
Eric's doing that, Joel's doing that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well,
you
and
know?
what you guys
He's got the
say-
sticker on the bus.
It
Yeah.
does. It's right on the leveler, so when people get in, because it's on my sliding door,
Oh,
so
yeah.
people see it, and when you open it, it stays there. I mean, it doesn't hide, and it always
Yeah.
says it's. That's when they. What is that? I've seen that. What does that mean? I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
well, let me tell you a little story.
Come over here. I got some candy for you.
Or I'm out of
tremendous.
Or I'm out of candy.
Yeah, that's what Morley would is.
tremendous. I
But it
love
is. I mean, it's just fun to see groups and organizations, companies, whatever you want to say, like you guys giving people so many opportunities.
Yeah.
And it really does. At the end of the day, what it's doing, it's bettering your life.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, it's not
Yep.
about endurance racing. It's not about.
No, that's exactly right.
It's about just your life
Yep.
and your lifestyle, because you
Yep.
can incorporate suffer better, like you said, in anything.
Yep.
Right. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
It's really true.
You know, you
it's
see
an attitude that
you-
you should bring to what you do.
Yeah, and that's what I have these interesting talks. But because we spend a lot of time in the mountains,
Yeah.
okay, that's just our lifestyle.
Yep.
When you're in the mountains and you see somebody, what's the first thing is you say hi. I mean,
Oh,
it's like,
always.
hey, how's it going? Hey, well,
It's
Always.
really true.
and I challenge people. I told my wife this. I said, all right, now go walk through a mall. Go to
Yeah.
the grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't
People
happen.
don't
They don't
look
even
as
look
happy.
at you.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
Yeah.
And so
You
it's
know.
this lifestyle, and you slowly bring it to your life, and
Yep.
no matter where you are,
Yeah.
and it's
Yep.
interesting to see sometimes. And you always hear the stories about, this stranger talked to me today, and it was the coolest thing, or I was having a bad day, and they brought this up, and
Yep.
that's exactly these moments what you guys do. I mean, this is our first show today. We got a lot of shows we're
We got-
recording today.
Oh, yeah?
9 more shows.
9 more
to do.
shows
What?
today. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Whoa.
Yeah, we're getting booked up,
We
which
are
is
that
nice.
popular.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but to start us off,
I'm
and
glad
hear,
I'm number one
Yeah.
here.
You are
Yeah.
number 1.
Yeah.
But to start us off and hear stories about building latrines, for
Yeah.
these underprivileged kids, and
Yeah.
what you're doing for breast cancer. My mother had breast cancer, and
Yep.
So those
For the
these
food
for
bank,
me, the
you
food
know,
bank.
come
I mean,
on,
all these things
those
you
are
guys are doing,
huge.
they're huge. And so for us,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, this is a good way to start the day.
It
It's
is.
a feel good story.
It
You're
is.
the one. I mean, you and Bob are bringing this. I know people are helping, but you're the
Oh, yeah.
you're the catalyst to this
Right.
whole
They're
thing.
the engine.
Well, and of course, as you just said, we can't. I've said it. We can't do without everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
What are we? We're just a platform. That's all we can do.
But that's
And,
but you
know.
need those.
Yeah.
You really
Yeah.
do. You need, and there's other platforms out there. Don't get me
Absolutely.
wrong, but you need those platforms, because otherwise people just go through their day,
Yep.
Right.
cruise through. You see, sad commercials about donating to this
Yeah.
organization or whatever, and
Yep.
sometimes it's not that easy.
Well, I think that they're at a point where it's really unique for them, because I don't think that anybody else is doing this,
Right.
right? I
Not-
mean, there's
not that we
there's the
know.
1% for the planet, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is kind of like similar, right?
Yep.
Giving companies are giving 1% to whatever
Yeah.
that foundation is.
Right.
So you guys are uniquely positioned to make a big entrance into this,
Yep.
and to make a big difference.
Yeah.
And it kind of serves as a model going forward
Yeah.
for other people to
Yeah.
kind of follow in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, we've heard this a few times. 10%. That's
Yeah.
a lot, right? Which is probably why we're not making any money. But
Right.
whatever, But it is about that, and it's like you said. We've said it all morning. It's you got skin in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that for us
That's
is
huge.
Is a big deal, and
Yeah.
we have to live up to that because that's important to us.
Well, and you guys
So-
definitely have, because
So
like I said,
far.
I've been following you since, obviously pretty early on, and
Yep.
Seeing what you guys have done, and from day one when Joel and I talked about our guest list, right? We
Yep.
were like, "Hey, we're recording our first show. We got to get a list of who we want on." And
Yeah.
right away, I'm like, "All right, suffer better."
Oh,
you
cool.
know,
Yeah, he's been
that-
talking about it for a while.
Yeah,
That's
but
awesome.
for us, I mean, we like to do these in-person shows. So
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. I mean, it's,
because we've done the
Totally different.
Google
We've
Hangouts.
We've done the Google Hangouts.
And they're tougher.
It's
you know?
hard because the dynamic isn't there, right?
It's
you don't get to
Personal
read the
connection.
person next to you, Eric and I don't have the cues that we normally have
Yeah.
that we work off
Oh,
of.
yeah.
And my
So-
dial-up internet's really slow.
No, it's fine. Goodness.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
when we like just out of the blue reaching out to you guys
Perfect.
last week, or you
Yeah,
guys, and
it's
he's
awesome.
like, "Oh yeah, Peter's coming." I'm like,
Yeah.
"When? This
Yeah.
is it. We
Yeah.
we
Yep.
definitely want to land."
No,
on
and I
that."
know Bob. I mean, he'll hear this and he said, "Why didn't you say this? Why didn't you mention
We'll
that?"
get
What's
him
it?"
on.
Oh,
Yeah,
we'll,
for
we'll
sure.
talk to Bob.
Because he's awesome.
Oh, I
He's
love
awesome,
Bob.
dude.
He's a stud. He's really humble because
Yeah.
when I first met him in Moab. So the story with Bob and me is, me and Scott Jaime, good buddy of mine, we were running in Moab. I bought some Pearl Izumi shirts, logoed them with the Smith logo, ran Moab red hot.
That's
And
because
then-
you were a Smith rep.
No, I worked
Right?
for Smith.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I worked
I
for
knew that.
Smith.
Yeah.
And then so Scott runs into Bob, and Bob's like, "Hey, he worked for Pearl Izumi
Yes,
at the time." He's
right.
like, "Where'd you get that shirt?" "Oh, my buddy. We want to start a team." Bob's like, "Well, Pearl wants to do that." And so we had a brain, wash. And of course, Darcy, I was in awe of Bob and Darcy because I knew who they were, and I was
Yes.
new to the game. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh, I'm talking to Darcy and Bob, right?" and so that's
That's
where I met
awesome.
Bob, and I'm like, this guy is like, I just met him, and he's like the nicest, but you wouldn't have got his background of how awesome he is as an athlete because he's just
Yeah.
humble.
Yeah, yeah.
And so then I went and I'm like looking at all he's done. I'm like, wait a minute, this guy's legit.
Yeah. Seriously legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And same with you. I mean, we talked before the show. You're like, oh yeah, I ran ultras and did this and
Back in the day.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
So-
when there was, there weren't many of us.
No.
Yeah.
It was just different.
Like he's
world.
like so. Yesterday we talked to Chrissy Mail.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
she's a really nice lady.
she's awesome.
This is
Right,
true.
and
Oh.
one of the things that we're going to hopefully talk about later today in our interviews is kind of like the state of ultra running, right? Because it's like big
It's
right now,
just
big,
booming.
big, and we were talking to her, and we're just kind of like, well, back, kind of like your generation. And I didn't mean that in like a negative way,
Sure.
because I mean she was kind of like second generation,
yeah,
right?
and that's what she said. She goes, yeah. She goes, I was
yeah.
kind of second generation.
and
For
because
us,
we're-
it's like, yeah, right.
We're kind of on like we're almost on like a fourth
Fourth.
fourth
Oh, yeah.
generation now of people coming into the sport.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like the first generation.
Yeah.
Just to tell you, I know you've read Born to Run, right?
Yeah.
So I ran Leadville with the Tar Mahar guys.
Right.
Oh.
That was the year that I did it 2 years.
Yeah.
And the second year I ran it, I spent like 10 miles running with one of these Tar Mahar guys and trying to talk. Of course, we
Right.
don't speak the same language,
Yeah.
but super friendly dude and wild, crazy, And that was that 26 years ago or
Yeah,
something.
which is crazy
You
to think that
know?
we're now fourth generation. We
Yeah.
can talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
that,
Yeah, yeah.
but here's that opportunity because there's more people in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get them really in there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, look at the number of races.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
now it's the new marathon.
Yep.
Everybody used to say,
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm going to run a
50's the new
marathon.
20.
Now I'm going to run
Yeah.
my 50K or
Yeah.
my 50 miler, and it's like they're so stoked about it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, honestly, to see that.
Well, and it's kind of that what's next, pushing
Yeah.
the next thing. I
Yeah,
mean, the
yeah.
best thing I ever
Absolutely.
saw years ago, was like, I don't run marathons. Oprah ruined it for me, right? And so, and I thought that was hilarious because back then Oprah ran a marathon.
is
People like, well,
hilarious.
if she's doing it, I can do more than that,
Yeah,
right?
it's seriously-
So, and it's no offense or anything, but it's just funny. But now
Yeah,
you do
that's
see
very
that,
funny.
like pushing the envelope.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we all know those people
Oh, yeah.
that
Oh, yeah.
was like, I would never run that far, and then they do this race, and then a little bit farther, and next thing you know, they're doing hundreds,
Right.
And they're like, wow, I
I
should
think
have
that's
never talked to
the,
you.
the thing that you should never say. You should never utter those words. I'm never going to do that.
Bingo.
That's a game
Bingo.
breaker because
Yeah.
you know it's going to happen.
Because then if you have friends like us,
Bad
Yeah.
influences.
oh my gosh,
Somebody's going to say, okay.
they're going to
maybe
goad
should
you.
try that.
They're going to you're going to get text messages in the middle of the night.
Yep.
Ultimately, you're in.
Yeah.
You're
It's like,
gonna
oh, if
cross-
You're going to
gonna
get
go-
badgered into doing
You're
something.
gonna
If you've
cross
done a-
that bridge.
If you've done a 50K, 50 miles not that much farther. If you've done a 50 mile, that's all the training you need for 100.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially now.
Yeah.
The training rules have changed.
Yeah, we
You
talked
know?
about that earlier.
Nobody does that. You don't go out and run a 70-mile training run.
Yep.
Nobody does that.
No.
Right? If you did, you'd never get to the 100.
You
Nope.
never get to the race.
So, yeah, all those things have changed so much. It's interesting to
Yeah.
me.
Right on.
Well, we definitely want to do whatever we can to help
Yeah, vice
promote,
versa.
support anything we
Totally.
can because we're totally on board with what you guys
It's
are
awesome.
doing. And like I said, we have been from day one. And we just can't. Well, I know you're busy. I know you talk about having to
that
meet
busy.
clients, but I know this is like a weird busy, right? Because
Yeah.
you're like in candy store.
Yeah.
Me and Joel were talking about yesterday just being
yesterday
overwhelmed.
was overwhelming for me. This is my first time ever.
Oh,
at the-
really?
Yeah, yesterday was my first, and I walked in. I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
there's too much,
Yeah.
right?
It's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming.
Well, people
and the
t-
first thing I noticed is like, what is all these stand-up paddleboards? What's going on here?
and then we went to the pavilion.
Then we
Oh,
went to the
yeah.
pavilion. That's
Oh, yeah.
all it is out
and
there.
that's all that's out there.
That's all that's out there.
Yeah.
That and the crickets.
And Scratch Labs.
Oh, Scratch Labs out there too.
Oh, they have I can't believe that's where they are.
Yeah.
We love those guys.
Oh, we
Yeah.
we
Oh man,
love-
I walked in. I was like, oh, hello, cookies.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm eating cookies. I'm like, I've got like 4 handfuls of cookies, and I'm over there trying to grab Eric. Eric, you got to come over here and try these, right? And cookies are like falling out of my mouth.
Yeah, we love Scratch
And he's like,
Labs.
dude, what's going on?
And they're from your
They're
neck
from
of the
Boulder.
woods.
They're from your neck of the
yeah,
woods.
they're Bijou, who is the guy who authored their cookbook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's opened restaurants now called Bijou's Little Curry Shop.
Oh,
He does-
curry.
It's like a Chipotle for Indian food. It's
Yeah.
like fast cash. You go through, you get a bowl, you put your rice in it, you put this meat, you put this sauce, you do this, and
Hello, we need one of
they're
those here.
killing it.
Well,
He's
yesterday
killing it.
they were nice enough to us that they gave us a free lunch card, and we went to
Yeah.
their food truck.
Oh yeah.
They got
And
a
it
food
was-
truck. They got a Scratch
They
Lab
got a food truck. They had
That's so cool.
rice, tofu,
Yeah.
cabbage,
They're
and
awesome.
some sriracha aioli sauce.
Yeah.
It's all that's Bijou, right?
That
So
was
good.
me and Joel.
Yeah.
We didn't talk for like 10 minutes. We
'Cause
just
you're
sat
just
there.
shoveling.
Shoveling
Right.
in.
Yeah, and then I
People
told,
next to us are doing the same thing.
and then
It's
I told
all
my
quiet.
my daughter what I had. She goes, "You had tofu?" I'm like, "It was good."
It was
Yeah.
good.
And she's like, "You're not gonna make me eat that,
Yeah,
are
right.
you?"
Yeah, right.
No, but you're gonna eat the cricket bar.
Yeah, the cricket
Oh
bar.
yeah.
Was,
Who is this? Is that Evo?
well, there's a few. There's the
Chapul.
Chapul.
Oh yeah.
There was
I've
a-
only had the
I think,
Evo one.
Yeah,
you
there's
know.
a few. There's all
Cricket
kinds.
farm.
I mean, that's what we're excited about. But
Pretty
yeah, I mean,
amazing.
it's just you say we're
Yeah.
here for work. We got meetings, but it's like
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
like nothing.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
It's like it's sad when it
It's
leaves,
a
and people
candy.
say to me, "I can't believe OR's like 4 days." I'm like, "Well, you need that much time."
You do. You don't realize how big it is until you walk in. You're like, oh crap.
miss
Where do I
it.
start?
It's so overwhelming.
It is.
It is.
And it's such great stuff.
Well, and the
right?
fun
It's
part is-
toys.
Everybody in this building, for the most part,
Yes.
is the same as you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
They
Right.
love what you love. You start
Yep.
talking about something, and the passion just resonates from
Oh,
their
yeah.
face, and
It's
you're
a
like,
tribe.
"It is exactly. It's
That's
a
the way I look at
culture,
it.
and it's a
Yeah.
great one to be a part of." Like,
Yeah, totally.
you know, I want to stay in the outdoor industry for that reason. It's just
Bingo.
you don't wake up in the morning and go, "Ah, crap, I got to go to work."
Totally agree.
It's like,
Yeah.
sweet man, I can't wait
Yeah.
because so and
Trust
so
me,
did this.
the
and so-and-so
recovering
did
lawyer
that.
thing.
Yeah,
I've done
Yeah.
that other thing. You don't want to do that.
You don't want to do
You don't
that.
wanna do
You
that.
don't want to do the quote unquote work.
You don't want to
That's
do
right.
that.
We have some listeners out there who are thinking about being a lawyer.
Yeah. Don't.
Yeah.
Peter,
Talk
Peter's-
to Peter.
He's a 400-step program to get away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never worked with a happy lawyer. Like, so what? That tells you all you need to know.
Yeah.
For me.
And we know a couple.
We
Yeah.
know. We know
Are they
one
happy?
that's just
Really?
crazy. No, he's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
he's just straight up certifiable.
And you know who you are.
Yeah.
And we're not backing down.
No.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, I mean, again, we're gonna have all kinds of links. We're gonna be,
Sweet.
hopefully doing what we can to help in this SB for good.
Yes.
Super cool.
Yeah,
I mean, we're
I mean-
excited to see where this goes. And
Yeah,
I
us
mean, me
too.
and Joel looking here like for $10 a person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still really blown away by that.
It's there's nothing hard about it,
No,
right? I mean,
no.
you guys, it's the company's doing the work.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
we set it up. We send out regular emails. We
Right.
keep people in the loop, and the app tracks everything.
Man.
So
All they
really,
have to do
they
is
can-
get healthy.
yeah,
Right.
it's bingo.
Yeah,
right.
and that's- I mean,
They
what's
gotta
wrong
give-
with that?
They actually just have to give a damn.
Yep.
Is what it's all about.
Yep.
Right. About
All right.
them, their colleagues. and their
Let's get some
company.
people signed up today.
That's right. Let's get them
awesome.
signed up.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, definitely reach out. I mean, we'll have, like I said, we'll have links on the show.
Yep.
Peter and Bob, two of the nicest guys you're ever going to meet. I mean, they're doing it for the right reasons. We encourage you to go to their website, check out everything they're doing, the companies they're supporting, buy some gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, buy
come
some
on.
gear, folks.
You
Come
get
on.
some cool,
You're gonna
sweet
get
gear.
some just random stuff from Peter's garage.
Yeah.
Right?
Lots.
Lots.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
You're gonna
got-
get a T-shirt and that cup that my grandmother gave me 200 years ago.
There, see, that's what I'm
Right?
talking about. That
Order
is
number 7.
personalized.
Order number 7.
That's right.
And a note.
Yeah, and a
trust
note.
me, you're
Hey,
always
I'm
gonna
telling
get
you
the
what.
note.
I'm sorry, but that goes a long way.
It does. Like your grandmother said, handwritten notes go a long way.
Yep.
Yeah,
They do.
because nobody does that.
No,
No,
nobody does
honestly.
that.
No,
Yeah.
you get an invoice.
And
your name,
obviously
yeah.
your handwriting's good enough that
It's awesome.
Yeah.
As long as you know something, we're saying something friendly.
Yeah.
You know my favorite part every time I read it's like, thanks for flying the flag.
Yeah.
There
Because
you
to
go.
me, I'm like, wait a minute, that makes me feel like I'm a part of what you're doing, and for that,
part of the
that's-
Army.
Yeah, right.
are, absolutely.
Yeah. And so it's like that's the coolest
100%.
saying, and I've used that saying before.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, fly the flag. I'm like, wait, I don't want to steal that. That's super cool. I don't want to tarnish it.
You can hashtag it.
No, we're not the first.
Yeah,
you know?
well, I mean, it's
That
just,
was Bob. I think that Bob came up with that one, and I don't know where it
Bob's
came
pretty
from.
good with the slogans, huh?
But
Yeah.
he's awesome.
Yeah.
He's a smart dude. And
Yeah, he's a marketing
really
guy.
good at what he does.
Yeah.
So he's got it. So
All right.
well, thanks again, Peter.
Yeah,
we
thank you.
can't
Thank
wait to
you
see
guys,
where this
both of you.
goes.
Yeah.
And,
Anything we can do for you, we're in.
Well,
Just
I mean,
let
this
us
is
know.
good. This is good for us. We're like, you were saying how you like. I'm super psyched we got you to be on the show. For us,
Well,
that's
yeah.
a big
appreciate it.
thing.
Number one today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Awesome.
sure.
Thank
so thanks
you.
again. Good luck,
Thanks.
and we're going to be
Ditto.
tracking it.
We'll be looking for you.
All righty.
All right.
See you in
Thanks, guys.
Boulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that. That'll be fun.
right.
Get that van on the road.
We'll leave like 5 days early.
Gonna have to.
It's fine. We'll give you enough lead time.
All right.
Cool.
All right. Thanks for
Thanks,
listening
guys.
to the show. Thank you for listening to the Trail Manners podcast. We'd like to thank Peter for taking the time to join us today at Outdoor Retailers. We encourage you all to head on over to their website at sufferbetter.com. Everything that Peter and Bob are doing over there is incredible. We support them. We encourage you to do the same. So we'd also like to encourage you to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Trail Manners, or swing by our website at trailmanners.com. Once you're there, check out our gear, or you can go to the contact page. Send us a note. Let us know what you want to see, who you want to hear, or even if you would like to be on our show. So until next time, this is Eric Manning with Joel Hatch reminding you, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Now go get it.